Hello YouTubes, I have a couple of subscriber jobs to do today. I've got a little one and I've got a great big one. Should be fun. Let's begin with this TH&B Caboose. Both our projects today are brought to you by James at Dundas Junction Model Railroad. Now this one requires a new truck because that's broken, and I don't think insulating tape is the best way to hold in couplers. Yeah, so they need to get replaced, and I'll be using my new budget method of spacing these couplers to work better. Right, let's see if we can remove this without destroying everything. I like to get a screwdriver in one side and lever up the other side of these little clips, like so. So I won't be using this truck, but I will be using the little coupler. Looks like a nice little KD, but it's really doing nothing there. And the other one, I see a little cardboard spacer. I think we can hopefully improve on that. But you never know, might reuse it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's move them out of the way because there is something else I need to do to this. Because it, or at least it was, rattling. You can see the weight there. Pretty sure that's supposed to be lying flat. So let's get the body off. I can see a tab there, there, there and there. Hopefully we can just stretch this out. Might need to remove the ladders. Hopefully they've not been glued in. I'm going to get some plastic to go in there to keep them out while I leave that out. Let's see if an old driving license can do the job. Actually, someone suggested cocktail sticks at one point. I get a feeling these ladders are glued in, which is not going to make life easy. I do not want to break this, obviously. Oh, wait a minute. This looks like the cupola comes off. Oh, I don't know where the clip is for this. I wonder if it levers out. Aha. There's a clip there, presumably clip at that side as well. Oh, again, it kind of feels like it's been glued in. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take this out for now because I reckon I could just get a bit double-sided tape, stick that down there, put the weight down, Bob's your auntie. Right, let me take care of that. Back in a sec. Okay, that's our weight taken care of. Zero damage so far, which is always a good start. Let's get this back on. Don't think it matters which way around it goes. It looks fairly symmetrical. It's got a little TH&B number 80 on each side. Okay. Perfect. Right, let's get on with these. So rather than trying to glue this thing together, I did find another one that looks very similar to that one. Yeah, that's identical, so that's going to save us a bit of hassle. Just need to put the wheels in that and get our coupler spacers made. Now, I did make a whole video on how I make the spacers for these Talgo truck conversions so we can use KDs so they don't flop about. So I will quickly get through this so you can see how we do this, because as you can see, that's useless. There's way too much slack there, okay? So step one, we're going to remove this coupler. This is actually a Bachmann, so I think what I'll do is I'll just replace this with one of my nice KDs that I recently got. Take this one out. Probably best to take the wheels off when you do this. They just get in the way. Got to lever up that little bar with the pin. Pull that out. Now, these little trucks are dependent on that little bar under there with the little pin pushing up this way, and over time they get a bit soft and they start sagging down. So I just like to give them a bit of a push, bit of a persuasion back in the way, bit of a bend, so that this little bar here is more pushing up that way. And this will help reduce the amount of up and down movement we get. You see what I'm doing here? I'm just pushing the back end of that through, bending it a little bit. That will help with the next stage. Right, let's get my spacers. 1/8 inch styrene tubing. We're going to cut a couple of slithers of this, just enough to fit inside our KDs. Tell you what, styrene's a lot stronger than you think it is. You would think a big knife like this would just slice right through it. There's one. Doesn't have to be perfectly sized. You can always trim it down once it's in place inside your KD. And for this one, I'm going to be using regular KDs, not the whisker coupler ones. So first, let us glue them inside our KDs. Just show you what I'm talking about. So that's going to fit inside there. That's why you need the glue. But anyway, that's going to go in there. Behave. And that takes up the space from that little slack. Now it takes up the slack from that little bar that I was talking about. Okay, so the center of the tube fits over that little pin in the middle, and the outside of the tube takes up all the space from the rest of the KD. So I will glue them in place, let them set before we move on to the next bit. Okay. Next part of this operation is modifying our little Talgo trucks. We need to take a little slither from there and there, because we're going to be using little brass spring boxes that come with your KD couplers, and we're going to insert them from the front. So I'm just going to take these little end lugs off of the Talgo trucks. You see the difference there? There's a little pair of keepers there. We need to remove them. Don't worry, it'll make sense in a second when I get the spring boxes or the draft gear thingamajig. I don't know what they're called. Little brass springy things that control the left and right movement of your KD couplers. Okay, let me grab a couple. I have a couple of brand new ones just for this job. These are the things I'm talking about. So obviously we need to make sure that the open end is facing the front. So we're going to slide the closed end through there. And we're obviously going to have to bend the pin down a bit to get this all the way in. This is a wee bit fiddly, but it's well worth the effort. Might even be easier to do it from the underside here. Yes, that's actually much better doing it that way. So that's one done. Let me get the other one done. Lovely. So that's our Talgo trucks ready to receive their modified KD couplers. Wonderful. Almost there. So it's really just waiting for the glue to dry on those spacers, put them back in the trucks, stick them in there, and that'll be done. My KD couplers should be ready for assembly now. So we slot them into the little gap here. We're going to have to bend that pin down just a shade again, which is why I started with them bent up the way a bit, just to give them a bit more plasticity or something. Okay, again, a wee bit awkward, but just want to bend that pin up just enough to get our KD into place. Make sure it is either side of its little springs on that little brass thing, which I don't think it is. Let's wiggle that a little bit. Okay, I think I messed that up. Because it's not working, and it should work. I need to move this forward a little bit. So that it's centered. So I think what I've done here is, because I didn't trim down my little spacer, it's just causing a little bit of friction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that out again, make sure this one, don't know if you can see that, but there's just a wee bit too much of the spacer sticking through either side. There and there. So they really need to be flush to get a nice movement left and right. Okay, let me rectify that, back in a sec. Okay, I've trimmed down my little spacer so that it's now flush with the KD. Now we're talking. There we go. Nice and springy. We don't really have any slop up and down the way. Perfect. Right, let me get the other one done, and then we'll be able to reassemble, get the wheels on, and we'll be done. We are ready for final reassembly. Let's get our wheels on. Now, full disclosure, I did find putting just a little dab of super glue either side of that little brass box just stops it sliding back and forward. So you may want to do that also. You should still be able to remove the KD coupler if you want in the future, because it's not glued in place. So let me get all the wheels in. I'm making this look really difficult. Wheels are back on. Pop them back in to our caboose. And we're done. Couplers work nice. Excellent. Throw this on the track, make sure it hooks up to something. So I don't currently have a TH&B loco, so I'm going to use my trusty CN workhorse. I might need to insert the hand of God. I'm not sure if there's enough weight to link this up. Oh yeah. No problem at all. Off you go then. Excellent. It works. We're done with that one. I'm going to save the other project for another video because that took way longer than I expected and it's completely unrelated. So I'll do a bit of a victory lap and I'll see you in the next one, probably tomorrow. I want to get this done as quickly as possible. Get it back to James so I can get on with my own stuff. Take care everyone. I'll see you soon.